Yeah, so we had a really big interest in learning about Canva, and as I say, we had a poll in the group, and a lot of people said they can't live without Canva. So those of you that know it might want to know it better. Those of you that don't know anything about it, then you're in the right place, because Vix is going to walk us through it. As there's such a huge demand, we thought we'd do potentially do a follow-up in the new year, because it is such a huge tool to learn. So we're just going to see how far we get through today. Just admitting more people, just see how far we get through today. Vix has got a list as long as your arm of things to walk us through. And then if necessary, maybe we'll do a sort of masterclass in the new year, because there is just such a huge tool. But in the most basic terms, you know, there's so much you can do just in what Vix is going to cover today. And what's important to know is actually you get a lot of functionality in the free version as well. So you don't even have to have the pro version. And whilst that's very affordable and probably the best £10 a month I spend, you don't necessarily need to excuse me, you don't necessarily need to have the paid for version when you first start out. No problem, Jules. Please feel free to come and go. This will be sent out to you all as a replay anyway. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. So I think without further ado, I'll introduce Vix, and I'll just keep half an eye on people turning up. So Vix is just recently relaunched herself. She's just reinvented herself as a new brand called Pebble, and that's because she's got quite a holistic now service. She's looking at all sorts of things to serve her clients. She herself has operational background and social media and digital marketing, branding, and that type of thing. So hence why her skills in Canva are here, and she's here to demonstrate that to you. But I'll let her introduce you to us because she'll do a better job. But welcome, Vix, and thanks for your time.
Thanks so much. No problem. It's great to be here. I'm excited to share some of my knowledge with you all. You know, if I go too fast, slow me down. If you've got any questions, I'll take some at the end. But like Paula said, it's such a versatile tool, and there's a lot to learn in there. So we should probably just start at the beginning, I think. Let me share my screen and hope that I can do that. 1 second. Here we go. Right. Here we go. Can everyone see that?
It's just loading. Yep, we're in.
Great. Okay, so home, it's got pretty much everything you can possibly want, but I would automatically say go to projects or start with a previous history. It will always bring up your previous designs, which is great. So if you were working on something and you want to get back to it, it's just there in your recent designs. It comes straight up. Now, yesterday I put together this for us today, and one of the great things about Canva that I love the most is you can duplicate things. So if you're testing something out and you're like, oh, I don't know if that looks good or whatever, but I didn't want to mess up my last design, I go in and duplicate things, making a copy by clicking on the dots at the top here, and then you can just go make a copy, and it will actually just do a straight copy for you, and then you can go and edit that document and then tweak it around. Then you can judge between the two, whichever you're happy with. So if I do this, if I rename this here now, going the welcome pack Canva demo, but if I put the live version, because I think if we go in and do some let's do some changes to the actual document I made yesterday so that you can see what I did and how I did it. So initially you open something up. This was actually from a template, and I have used the basis of templates. Normally when you open up a new document, they will suggest some other type templates on the left, and these are so versatile to use. You can kind of tweak and move any different styles in as you want. Obviously I would try to keep to some sort of branded style guide when you are making a document for somebody, whether it's for yourself or for a client, but there are so many different variants of designs and color schemes and styles that you can use at any time. So if the bottom here, you know, sometimes if you're working on something in detail or you want to make it look brilliant. I would go a little bit zooming in here, so you can go 125% if you want to check on smaller details. If you want to look at the whole document, you can zoom back out, so go to 60%. So if everyone can see this now, this is our Canva and training demo. I put that in there. I just literally went to Google Images and pulled down the Canva logo, and you can upload anything you like. You can pull stuff in, you can drop things in, you can copy and paste. If you copy and paste something, it will generally drop into your uploaded files, and all of this information will stay in there. Your images will stay in there, logos and all of that stuff will stay in there until you need it. It's very similar to PowerPoint, but obviously a little bit more clever. So you can do loads of stuff, move things around, and there's loads of different effects and things like that you can do. So we move on to the next page. This is basically what I say to people about Canva when they say it, like, Google is your friend, but Canva is your new best friend, because you can do so much with this tool. It is really, really versatile. You can make basic documents, letterheads, logos, anything. You can make more detailed documents, you can make websites. Literally, there is nothing that this thing cannot do. And if I get stuck on something, I'm like, I don't know how to do it, this is my first place to check. Can I find something in here? Because I know I can make something really quickly, really easily. Looking at, I mean, I go obviously for the aesthetics, that's my background. I love things looking branded and really nice, but I just think even if you're doing a very basic document, it can look so polished in Canva that you will it will turn out something brilliant. So it's much more versatile than PowerPoint, because obviously in PowerPoint it's easier to work than Word, but on the kind of a visual basis, but it is very limited to what you can do with just X anyway, and it's more creative than Word, and it's fun and flexible and fast. That's how I see it. So that is basically where I would suggest to look and play around and just have fun with it when you go in, and give yourself a little project to just go, all right, I'm going to design a birthday party invitation or something like that, so you can practice doing all of the skills for yourself before you need to do it for somebody on a professional basis. So where to start? Let's go to our home. I always go back to home if you are worried about anything, or you think, oh goodness me, I don't know where that is. Home is a brilliant place to start. It's where you would go for your templates. It would where you go for all of your projects and things like that. And these are the things that I will take you through now. So let's go back to home for that. We will go here now. In home, you go, right, I need to design a birthday party invitation. Okay, so let's put this in here. Party invitation, right, and you click return. So search, it's going to come up with a million different versions of a birthday party. Okay, so I'm doing it for a 5-year-old girl. Fine, you can keep going, scrolling down. Oh, find a theme that you think's like, whatever you want. Okay, so Richard's 9th birthday, or this one looks quite sweet, so we'll just go into this one. And basically anything in there you can edit. You can move anything around. You can change the fonts by, say, clicking on the birthday party. No, she doesn't like green. Let's go up and find a different color, and it will come up with loads of different color options here. So maybe she's more of a purple person, so we can put it in purple. You can change any of the elements around. Okay, so this is for a girl. She might not like dinosaurs. Let's take this dinosaur out. Let's go and find an element. So let's put a unicorn in there. Okay, so let's find a unicorn. Right, this one looks good. Okay, if you look on all of these, some of them will have a little crown by them. That's the pro version. So even if you've got the free version, you can still use the pro version elements, but you would just be paying for those individually as you check out, or as you download. It'll ask for payment. But if you do have the pro version, you can literally just drag and drop that across, make it as big as you like or as small as you like. If you want it slightly off the side, you can move it off the side. If you want to rotate it, you can do that. It's really, really simple to do this, and move things around and do whatever you want. And you can change any of the dates. You can change the fonts. So for example, let's do this in here. Let's see what we want on a font for this. I like apple sauce. It's quite fun for kids. So these loads of different fonts, apple juice, maybe even So let's move that. Oh, it's too small to read there. Okay, let's make it bigger. And again, you can then do other things with that. You can also have effects with your fonts. So we can have it neon if you want. You obviously not the best color for that, but if you did it in like a lime green, it would probably show up, but it's much better on things like blacks and whatever, and darker colors. But there's lots of different ways you can bend the writing as well, and or not, whichever you like. So things like that are really useful. What else can we add to this? If you want to, again, maybe say, oh, I'm not sure I like that style of this invitation, you can do a second one by doing duplicate, and it instantly recreates that page. You can then change color schemes, things like that. So let's try it with a blue, and you can just have a look and see what you like, and you go, okay, well, this might work. So we can just go, let's put demo party invite. So I'd go to the top and just do your name. Oh, if I can spell today, that would be great. And then in here, there's always also an option for the different pages to name them. So when you download them, you know exactly which one's which. So if we did here like purple text, then you'll know that's the one with the purple text, and this one's the one with the blue text. Okay, so let's do that. Blue text. There we go. And then if you want to download it, I'm just going to move my Zoom window across here. And then it will say here what you want to do. You can share it. So share it essentially means download it, send it to friends, work on it as projects with other people. If you've got multiple accounts with other, or you've got like a shared account within the business you work in, you can share it between, so it becomes collaborative. But generally, this is how I do to go and download something. So when you go to download it to use it for your own purposes, think how you're going to use this. Is it going to be a PDF that you're going to email, or you're going to upload to a website or something like that? Is it going to be a PNG, or are you going to use it on a website? Where are you going to use it, and what format do you need it in? So that's what you need to know first. Generally with this, I would say PNG would be a great way because it's versatile, it's high resolution. You can send it. If you were, I'll explain later about the transparent background, but that again is a pro feature. But it's quite useful if you want to do things on websites or backgrounds, or you're working in a little bit more detail with kind of design stuff. That's also a really good tool to use. Now, which page do we want to download? So you can either do both of them, or you can just select the one you're working on that you like, and then just do done, and it will download that and it will save it in your download. So that's a super easy way of having all of that. Let me go back to the home bit, and let's work on to our next area that we want to go through today. Look, it's now showing up in our latest design, so it's the party invite right there. Let's go back into our live version. I'm going to go back onto our second page and think of where we're going to go next with our stuff. So templates, I've just taken you through some of the templates there. If you want to do literally any of the templates, if we think about maybe templates that are more suitable to your working environment once you've tested out your skills on something for fun, let's go into, maybe you are making some branding guidelines, or maybe you are going to put together a welcome pack. So if you wanted to type in here welcome pack packet like that, it will probably come up with something like a pretty good, there you go, loads of them. So there's lots of different styles, there's lots of different areas. All of these will generally have a group of things or a group of pages that you can work with. And we can go with something like here. This is the welcome packet. So this is what I used to use as the template today. You can go in here and have a look. Now, where do we want, which kind of company we work for? This looks, well, I quite like this image because it's quite girly and smooth, but then you might be working in a more corporate environment. Okay, so we need a more kind of manly corporate image. Let's go in here and let's do office, and you go to elements and you can type in office. Okay, so office, it'll come up with graphics of an office or photos of an office. So we're like, okay, well, maybe this one looks a little bit better for our purposes. And you can basically go in there and just move it around tweak your image to the size you want it by left and right, or you can expand it however you want it, put it in there. You can either put it over the top of that one. Things like undo and redo and all your keyboard shortcuts work in Canva. So anything like Control X or Control Y and Z, all of those work here. You can basically take this one out and size it to the right to the shape of this one, make sure it's the same height and hover it over. If it wasn't centralized, if you look at the top here and you don't, I mean, you can do it visually. So if you move it around visually, they will come up with the lines for you for where you're going to put it, to make sure it's central. So there's normally a dead center line, and there's a set, there you go, there's your dead center line. So that would mean that you're in the center. But if you're not very good at holding your mouse skills and you think you'd rather have some extra help, position is your friend here. So you can basically go to the center of the document. You can go to the middle of the document, wherever you want, but for this particular page and this template, middle wouldn't probably work. So I would undo that because you want it in the position it was what was before. Here, you've got really great site. They will always do that as a standard, your standard URL, but you can obviously add any different types of text into there wherever you want. You can look, lots of different pages. They will always kind of put a placeholder in there like the Lorem Ipsum, which again you can edit and put your, but it's really good to visualize what text you want in there. There are things like meeting your team, and when it comes to images like this, you can either put the images in if you have a cropped circle, or if you have a photo of somebody but it's not a circle and you want it to be a circle, another really good element is a photo frame. So if I type in here photo frame circle on the left, it'll come up with graphics and things like this, but you've got actually should have, now it's obviously not going to find it for me, is it? Wait a second, let me have frames, image frame, see if that works as well. Ah, there we go. So look, anything here that you see that's got like this standard image on it, like a hills and the clouds, that generally means that you can put a photo in it. So if I put image frame circle in here, like that, oh goodness me, it's not playing ball today, is it? Let's go down for our image frame and see if we can find a round one. Circle photo frame. No, oh god, sorry, should have rehearsed this one. I'm just doing this off the cuff, so let me find something. Anyway, look, let's not do a circle frame. Let's do a photo frame or an image frame that's a square one. Just there are ones in there, but I just, for the sake of time today, I will leave it out. So look, image frame. Okay, so let's go for that. So let's pick this one. So you can move this across onto your document and then go to uploads. So for example, if I find a recent photo that I put in there, let's put this one in. There's a photo that I uploaded. I just move that across and drop it in here. Oh goodness me, hold on a second, it's not working now. Of course it's not, because I'm doing it live and it's hard to bring that to the front. So for example, to make it work and you actually, to connect with the photo, if you bring it to the front, it should slot in, but it's not doing it. Oh dear. Right, I'll show you in a different area. Generally speaking, that does work. It's just for some reason today it's not working. What I might do is do another one of those in a minute and find it if I can do it while we're talking about something else. But anyway, you can get photo frames, you put them in position, you can line them up, and they will move around. If you see the lines going there, you'll see that's a line to the right hand side text, and it's a line to the left hand side text that's related to that. So you can move all of these things around anytime you want.
I'm just wondering, Vix, if you can drop a picture over the top of those round
well,
ones.
let's try. I don't think so, because I think it's, oh, it is, there you go. Maybe it was in there as that. There we go. Thank you for that, helping me out. So look, you can just drop them over. That would have been a circle frame before. Again, I hadn't gone into this template and seen what type of parameters it was with all of the text stuff in there. So this is the one thing I would say about Canva, is it is like trial and error, have a play, see what works, see what doesn't, and you can always undo anything that you don't like or don't want. So for example, in there, yeah, thank you very much for that, for saying that for me, Paula. right, there's also the project timelines. Like I've said, it's gone in and you just edit things around. So you've got like placeholders in there, and you can just have a play with whichever sheets you like. If you don't want a sheet, for example, or if it's not relevant to that thing, you just delete the sheet. So there's a thing up here that says delete page, and it will just take it out. But then, as always, if you've done something by mistake, you just undo and it will come back in there. So that is a good thing to know about those. These also, you can name the pages on here. So if you put in this called services offered, when you come to download that, especially if you're downloading it as a PNG or individual page rather than a PDF of a group of documents, it will name that sheet as services offered, so you can find it again. Let's go back to our home. I'm just going to move my Zoom screen out. Okay, so if we go back to my document that I was working on from before, which is the live version demo, it'll take me back through to what I want to speak to next, which is projects. Okay, so if you're working on a project and there are multiple areas that you want to work in, or you've got to do multiple things for a client or whatever, I would set up a project for them, because then you can file everything away. And if you're working on multiple projects for different people, your home page or your recents will probably become a whole kaleidoscope of different things you're working on. So if you want to be able to go straight to where you're working and find all the stuff you're doing, I would always move something to a project from your home. So on this, on our example here today, here's the live version demo. Now, I haven't put that into my project. You can see at the bottom very faintly here what project it's in. So this one is in Canva training, and there's a poster. So I will move that to a folder. Which project do I want to move it in? Canva training, and then I'll move to folder. And it's very simple to just do all of that. I can do that, move to folder, and then when I look at my projects, it will all be in there. Move to folder. Here we go. My projects and Canva training. So when I go and look at my projects here, which is on the left hand side, I've got my projects here, and they are these will come up all like this. So if we go to Canva training, these are all the items that are in my Canva training at the moment. Okay, so go back to projects here. I'm going to go back to home so that we can work off our main one that I was looking at. Here we go, home. And I'm going back into my live version. Okay, let me just do the next place. Branding. Okay, so branding is really important, especially if you are going to be doing stuff for a client that would expect everything to be looking on brand and on, to their own specifications, whether it's their fonts, their styles, their logos, their images, whichever it is, and their color scheme. So I always try, even if they don't have this made for themselves already, because anyone that would have designed their logo or put anything together should have created like a style guide for them. But if they haven't, and you know that they have a particular set of colors or fonts or whatever, I always tend to just make one of these, because it's really easy to refer to, but then it's also really easy for you to share with somebody if you're working with a client or a partner and they need to know what your brand skill, your brands are. You've got them here. So if I just zoom in for this a bit better so that you can see it, keeping in brand. So there's your brand colors. You could have 3, you could have 2, you could have 10, doesn't really matter. But generally, when I'm working in Canva, I work off hex codes, colors. You can obviously find out the RGB values as well if you're working more like Word or whatever, but hex is generally a universal way of getting the color scheme right. So for example, if you wanted to find a color for this, you can go and click on the color block here, and we can go in here and we're like, oh, well, that's not quite the right blue, so let's find a different blue. So I can say this blue is better, which is a more turquoise blue. And what you do is if you hover your button over it, the cursor over it, it will pull up the new hex code. So this one says it's an 87D2EB. So we can click on that and it will obviously change the color there. But then if you're going to give somebody a reference to that hex, you're going to need to change the code so they're aware of it. So we'd go You can either do caps or lowercase. This one's set to write in all caps, 2EB. There you go. And I've changed that over. If you were like, oh, that's not the right pink, but you didn't want to use that, you can try and put in a pink here. Just type pink in the top and it will bring up a whole different range of pinks. So you know what the kind of pink you want. So let's go completely hot pink there. There we go. I always do the hover over there. I would write down the hex code. So you've got it 61993. Click that and then change your reference here, and then you've got all of these things. Then you can put this into a Word document or wherever else you want if you need to, and you've got your hex codes or your RGB values for that. So let me just put this in here so I know I've done it for you. 611F93. Okay, then you've got down here fonts and things like that. Generally, there will be one or two different types of fonts, whether it's a web font or whether you do it offline or online. But you again, within Canva, there is a whole range of fonts that are available. There's loads to choose from. There's all the standard ones. There's loads of fun ones. You can type something in going, right, well, we need to use a script. So you can just put script in here and it will bring you up with all the different types of script or cursive fonts that you want, and you can just have a play with those. Or if you want to use you know, calligraphy, whatever it is, they'll have a whole load of kind of calligraphy style fonts that you can play with. So just again, trial and error on those fonts if you wanted to create something like that, or if you wanted to use it and you've got the style in there for your fonts. If you were looking at styles, there are great font combinations and color combinations available to you if you need a bit of inspiration. So if you go here for write styles, and you can click on here on the left where it says styles, there's lots of different color palette options of things that go together. There's also font sets. So there are sets where are really useful, that if you want to have 3 that work really well together for a project, here, this is that. So you can have lots of different font sets and lots of different options. And you can then use those in your projects if you apply a font set. You can also, in the pro version, apply your own branding. So if you've got a company that you want to do your own branding for, if you're planning a lot of social media stuff for yourself or for other people, or you're doing lots of like newsletters or whatever, and you're going to use Canva a lot, it's definitely worth signing up to the pro version, and then you can have your own branding in there, your own colors, and it just automatically brings them up when you need them. So that is basically a very brief overcap on fonts and colors and branding. Again, I can go into more detail if anyone needs that on a different session, or I can do one-to-ones if anyone needs a kind of a bit of a help on that. Let's go back into the live version so that I know where I'm going with all of this, keep track of it all. Projects, branding. Okay, social media. This is the ultimate social media tool, not for posting. You can schedule from it. Again, it's probably a little bit too much for me to go into today, but it will create loads of really good content for your social media. So if you went back into document templates here, let's do Instagram posts or series or squares or whatever it is. If you're doing like a whole carousel of Instagram, obviously you're going to do squares. Generally, if you're doing stories, you want to have an upright rectangle for it, so that it works better when you're looking at stories. But you can do whatever you want, and you can do whole series of things here. So look, let's go Instagram post square. It will come up with loads of different options. Well, this doesn't look very square, does it? Let's use this. I've clicked on this and it's come with all of the different fonts and things that we were looking at immediately, and also the color scheme. And if you click on that in the top, you can star it. It means you favorite it and then you like that design. So let's put this in here. If I just insert, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this page out here and I'm going to put that in. Oh, I know what's happened. It's because I'm trying to put it into this flyer. So what I will do actually is if I go back to here and we do Instagram square. Here we go. Right, so it will bring it up at the right size, the right format, the right pixels. So look, what does your client do? I mean, obviously they'll either have their own style, or if you're having to create something out of thin air for them, then pick something that obviously suits their brand, their mission, their story. But you can go into here and it should bring up loads of different options for you to do anything you want, whether it's just an engagement post, or it's advertising something, or you're doing a welcome, or you're just launching a new product, or you want to have top tips for something. You can literally click on anything and it'll bring up a whole load of suggestions for you. And this, you know, this looks quite detailed and maybe a bit scary to people that aren't familiar with moving stuff around, but it's, once you're in there, it's really easy to change. You can just do anything you like. You can go in and go, hello, all right, fine, and move that to the middle, and you see with the lines that's coming up that you can get it aligned correctly with everything in there. Let's just do another thing. How are you? Literally just type over, move around, make sure you're happy with it, and put it in that I'm going to get my puncture rate. Fine, thank you. Okay, so look, all you need to do is just be brave and go with the flow and use a bit of imagination and a bit of creativity. And if you're stuck on any of that, there's always somebody to help you out, or there's always a template in there that is adaptable for you and that you can use whenever you like. Let's move that back in there. I'm going to go back to my main project and go in here. Right, let's get back to where I was done before. I'm just going to delete that page, I don't need it. That's the branding. Okay, so yeah, need inspiration. That was my last bit there. If you need inspiration, it is in the search button. If you want anything, you can type rocket ships, or you can type anything you want. It will come up with a template for you. It will come up with anything that you could possibly dream of, and it is just anything that's in there that pops up. You can edit the colors, you can edit the text, you can edit the content, you can edit anything you like. That's why I think this is such a versatile tool, and it's really I find it really fun to use. So what else is there? Ordering, grouping, effects and spacing, folders, elements, text collections. Okay, so I'm just going to move this up. I'm going to work from this document, and we will see where we get to with it. So ordering something. If you make a mess of stuff, let's make a mess. Right, you've got 3 things in there that are not aligned. Okay, what I would do is I would scroll across them all. If you do more, it'll take loads in, so just be careful what you highlight. You'll see them highlighted in purple if you're with the things you're looking around. Then I would go to your 3 dots, because if it doesn't show up automatically, because sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, always go to the 3 dots for more. Look at this and then go position. Okay, right, what do I want to do with that? Well, I want to horizontally align them, please. And you horizontally align them, and it should, if it's being nice, not. What is going on today? Nothing seems to want to work. Okay, so let's tidy those up. No, okay, and then horizontally aligned. So you can move them out piece by piece, and normally if you align them to position, they should do horizontally and change, so they're equidistant apart from each other. You can then, if you've got those happy where you want them, you can you can move them all together. So if you highlight them all together, they will, whatever you change will go together. And then you can also group them. So if you move them around, then those go together wherever you want. So basically you have now got your ordering. You can group them. But okay, if you've got, for example, let's move this one out, let's add some extra text actually. Hold on, I'm just going to put like this. And you want to, I'm going to copy this bottom line just for example in here and add that on the bottom. Right, so you've got a bit of text that's like, oh, that's not going to work. There are little tricks you can play because it doesn't align, it's not the right size. There are little tricks you can do with that to make it fit. For example, you can play with letter spacing. Now you don't want to do too much because you don't want it to look unbalanced, but you can play a little bit with the letter spacing. So I would play with that enough so that you can, let's see what 40 looks like. No, hold on, minus 40. I mean, I would play with it enough just to see if it will fit where you want it on here, and you see if you can get it to, oh, it's not doing it where I want. Come on. There we go. So you've tweaked with it just enough so that you've got the same lines and you've got the same size, but you've got an extra amount in there. It doesn't look too unbalanced. Like, you can play with things like that. You can also play with things like line spacing. So if you need something to shrink into a smaller area, you can tweak your line spacing so that you've got, this is particularly good if you've got quite a lot of content to get on one page and you only want to make something for a page, nothing more than a page, then you can shrink stuff together. I think that's quite a useful tool to have. And what else can we do with this? So if you want something all in caps, you can automatically change it to all caps like that. There's a tool to do that, so you don't have to retype everything. It's quite handy. If you want transparency, so if you were thinking, well, that doesn't need to be that bright or whatever, then you can easily just make things transparent. This also works really well in photos if you want to make a transparency there. So you can just say, right, I just want that looking a bit kind of not so in my face. It'll go there, and you can have it kind of in the background a little bit more so it's not standing out so much. What else are we going? Folders, we've done that. Elements, right, let's go back to elements and have a look at that. So there are so many things in here. You've got, again, everything will bring up anything recently used. So we've got our unicorn there. We've got the image we found. We've got the frame that obviously didn't work when I was trying to do it. But there's loads of things in here, that loads of photos. So if you want, you know, then you don't have to go and get stock photos from places because it's in here and you can download it. A lot of the photos are on the Pro model. But there are ones available that will work for free. There's also videos. You can input videos. There's loads of different things in here. There's charts, there's tables. Here we go. Here are our frames, the circle frames that I was trying to find ages ago. And then there's lots of collections of things. So for example, if you were wanting to do a whole collection of drinks or whatever, if you're making, I don't know what it is you were making, but if you can, they will have all of the same style of collections together. So you don't have to go and find the other ones that match through a random search. Again, elements is really, really useful. If you haven't got elements, or there's nothing in there you can't find and you actually have it yourself, upload it. You know, you can just go in and upload any kind of thing you need to in there, and it will stay in there in your library for you. I've taken you through the text collections as well. So if you are creating a document, this would basically be your checklist to check of things that you want to make sure you do. So let's do project folder. Have you created your project folder? If you've got multiple documents so that you know where to find it. Are your brand colors correct? And have you changed them all around to make them work for you? Logos and assets uploaded. So have you uploaded your own logo? Have you put all the photos that you need to? Are they in your uploads area, and make sure they're used in the correct place? Is it the correct font family being used for your project, whatever you're doing? Alignment and image quality. Again, I mean, you can upload any image you like, but I would always recommend using the best quality image you can get. Try not to get anything too low res and it, you know, blow it up because it will look grainy on your finished product or whatever you're making. Project and pages named. Like I said before, you can go into a page title and name it. So let's do that. Checklist. And then when you download it, which I will do now, you want to check here, downloaded in the correct format and size. So what are we going to do with this page? Let's do it as a PNG. Make sure that we've got what we want. So let's go, okay, oh no, that's fine. Download, here we go. I want it in a PNG. That size is fine. You can normally tweak the size. Again, that's a pro version. I think you're limited on the free version, but I think there are different templates you can find for different size products. Do you want a transparent background? No, but I will definitely come back to that because that's quite a useful thing to know. Which pages do you want to download? Well, we've got page 6 here. We only want to download page 6. So you go in here and it will say, right, current page 6. So you unselect all of them and just do that. You go done, and then you download, and it should come up. And hopefully if I can open it up and you see this screen, open or show in the folder. I don't know if it'll do it, but anyway, it will come up with the name of your your page in your download area. this is the last thing I was going to do is I'm going to take you through with the Advanced Academy information and the membership. But for here, I realized that she had a different colored logo to the one I had previously. So if you wanted to see you want to change this piece of text to her coloring in there, there is also a really good tool on the coloring side here where it will go photo colors. So all of the photos that are in this page, it'll bring up the colors. It will grab the colors from there. So this is the darker blue, and if I did it in the darker blue, it'll show up. So I can do that with all of these. It'll come up as a different color option. So I can go back to the photo colors. I can change all of these things to her color and make it, you know, more in tune with the brand for her. Anyway, I think that's probably where I might pause for a moment and find out if anyone has any questions before I rattle on and get done with the sound of my voice for a bit. I hope that's helpful.
That is absolutely brilliant, Vix. Thanks so much. It's I've learned a couple of things in there as well, so that's really helpful.
Oh, good.
Any questions or feedback or thoughts from anybody in the group? Don't be shy. No questions. A silly question.
Could I just ask a question?
Sure.
I saw a post yesterday on LinkedIn, and somebody put on there that they spent a long time struggling to get their social media posts that they've created in Canva to fit for iPad, mobile, and computer. Now I make up a LinkedIn post template, and I just assume that it will fit on everything, whether if it's an iPad or a mobile. Is that, do you have to think about what it?
You do have to think about things like that. I would always think about what it would look in different formats. I mean, generally, if you're doing a social media post, you assume that people are going to look at it either on their phone or on a desktop. Especially if it's LinkedIn, there is probably a higher chance they'll look at it on the desktop than the phone for the other social media accounts. But I would always just double check the size and the shape of images, because if you have a format that is maybe a portrait and you're only going to look at it if you're doing something that's landscape and you're looking at on a portrait, it's obviously going to shrink it down or be half of the image and you have to scroll across. So I would always think about where people are likely to see that most. What type, if it's an article that's very business related, are they going to look at it on a desktop? And then you can either tune into that or you just risk it and go, okay, well, people are aware that they're going to be seeing something that they should kind of make allowances for. But it all depends what you want to do with it. But I'm happy to have a go at trying to help you with that if you need to.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I can't believe there's no questions. Completely bombarded.
When you upload photos to images, do they need to be compressed? No. Generally, if you're uploading something from your computer, it will have to have been out of the zip. So you would be uploading the original file. I would always recommend uploading an original file. Like if somebody's WhatsApped you an image, it's going to automatically change the resolution, so it will be a lower res than the original image. So always try and get them to send you the original image before you upload it. Unless you're going to have something tiny in there that's not going to show up on a res, but it will look grainy if a WhatsApp image if you're uploading stuff. Can you change photos? Yes, you can. Let me go back into my screen. There is a tool that you can use on, and I did say actually I was going to show you some other tools. So let's go back into here and I will make an explanation for that. Let's go and find what can I do? I'm going to put a logo. So we'll find a logo, for example, today. And let's use this one. Okay, so number one, let's just do a duplicate. Sorry, I talk to myself. My friends think I'm bonkers because I talk what I'm doing as I do it, but that's what I do. Sorry. Projects, uploads, elements. Let's find a photo. Okay. Let's find a beach. Here we go. Right, color changing. Let's try and do that. So you put an image across, and you can do it as a replace background. So if you right click on it, there's lots of different things you can do with it. And you replace background, it will just blow it straight up. If you go back into let's go back into here, close this down, file, resize, where are we here? Edit. So edit image, you can do that. In edit image are areas like brightness, contrast, saturation, but they've also got filters. So you can change you can dull that down a bit, you see, with a whimsical or whatever. So there are different filters. You can make it black and white, but to be honest, who wants to look at a black and white when it's that glorious a picture? So that's one area of things that you can play around. There's definitely areas that you can tweak and lots of different kind of filters on there. There's different photogenic filters on there, and you can also auto enhance and retouch and lots of different paint effects and things like that. So yes, you can definitely edit images. You can definitely tweak around. For here, for example, if we wanted to remove the background, or look, we could even make that the color of this. So if we go here and maybe see if there was the color of the photo, default colors, here we go. Let's make the logo that color that we did before. And then what we want to do with that, which is obviously explaining about the transparent background, is actually, no, I can do it in edit image. Let's do that. Oh no, I can't. Let's share that, download transparent background. So I'm just going to download this one page as a transparent background, and then show you when I re-upload it that it will come as a pixelated background. So it'll come as a PNG that you can upload. So if I upload this now, add a page here, when I upload this, upload files, let's go to this one. Actually, no, let's go here. Sorry, 1 second, desktop. Downloads, here we go. Here we go, open. Right, so that has just come back in with a transparent background, and move that across. And basically, obviously you can't see that, but if I change the background of this image to something that is, let's do that, you can see that actually the whole background is gone. There's no white background on it. So you can overlay that any way you want, on any color, anytime, with your you know, the background remover. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see questions again if there are any more.
Yeah, there was one. Can you put links into an image that actually work?
You can.
I quite like doing that for my what was it now? The skills analysis sheet, for example. I created it in Canva, and you can make a button, and then that takes you to put the link in to the Google Sheet, and then that takes you to the Google Sheet, so it looks like a button.
That's what I was going to recommend. I always do that. Things like that, you can do that on PDFs, especially if you're uploading stuff. So I think it wouldn't necessarily work as an image file like a JPEG or a PNG, but it definitely works on things like PDF and printable documents or uploadable documents like a PDF. So yeah, hide any links you can behind buttons or even images. And you can say click image too, but it depends what your end product of your document will become.
Yeah. Does that answer the question, or probably got time? Have we got time for a quick demo of how to create a button?
Yeah, we can do that, no problem. Let me just do that now.
It's essentially just a shape, isn't it? And then
you can do that. So let's do that on here. Let's put a button in here. So go to elements. We can even try and put a button in.
You need to share again, Vix.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Easily done.
Sorry, I should rattling through too quickly. Okay, share this. Okay, so what I've done for this is I've gone back into my elements area and I click button. Fairly self-explanatory. Just let's use that one. You can again edit the colors. So if we wanted to do maybe a sunshine yellow or whatever it is, you can overlay text to that. So let's go to text here. What kind of, do you want to put heading, a subheading, a little body, recently used? You can actually use, there's loads of different font combinations and color combinations here. Let's put XOXO. I quite like that. You can put that on the top. And then you can combine those together as a group. So let's just make those aligned, position, a center. There we go. So you've aligned and you're going to group those. So those are now a button that you can move around. And then behind that, you've got a link. So let's do, if I put in, here we go, my thing here. Right. Oh, where am I? Let's put in a link, put that in there. And there we go. So that is now linked behind. Okay. And if we downloaded that as a PDF, which I will do, let me name that page button test. Right. So let's do that. Share, download, page, current page, which is page 2. And I want to, so I go, okay, done. And I want to do it as a PDF standard. Okay, so I'm going to download that now. Let me know if you can't see this PDF when I open it up. Can you see the PDF?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm just going to click on that and it will open up my website. Okay, so
Great.
basically, yes, you can do that easily.
That's great.
Make a button, do anything you want with it, have fun with it. And the thing about Canva is, number one thing is it's so fun. Like, this is why I love working with it. This is why I've kind of re-edited my whole life to work around something that I really enjoy, and I really love bringing visual stuff to people and making it fun, putting personality into stuff, you know. It's such a versatile tool. You can make so many things in there, and use it for personal stuff as well. Like I do Christmas card invitations. You can make Christmas cards, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can even send to print. They print stuff from there for you, rather than you having to do a Vistaprint or whatever else you want to use. So it is such a brilliant tool, and I absolutely love it.
So I think you've beautifully demonstrated why it's one of the top tools of choice in our group. Anyway, I think it's I absolutely love it. I mean, I'm quite creative anyway, so I like to play around with it. The only downside is you get sucked into you know, playing around, and yeah, I could be in there all day, in all honesty. And there was one thing I thought of as well, Vix, that might be useful. Not that we've really got time to demonstrate it, but reordering. So yeah, you can overlap images over each other, can't you? And then you can right click and choose bring to front or center back. So, you know, you can, that's quite good if you've got quite a busy image or a poster or that type of thing. So that's another, I mean, it is just so flexible, isn't it?
Yeah. And like I said, like if anyone needs any help with this, I'm happy to do kind of one-to-one sessions. I can come, and if there's projects that you need done, or if it's just a little bit too much for you and you were like, right, I need some help, can you do this? I'm happy to take on little bits of projects and stuff as well. So
and Vix is in our group, in the Facebook group, so do feel free to reach out to her in there. And of course, I think you've got an offer, haven't you, Vix, you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, well, like I said, I've just started this out because I've been doing this historically kind of as a sideline for the last 5 years, but I'm now moving my business over to doing things like logos and websites for people and stationery and branding and stuff. So if anybody wants any help with that, if they've got their own business they're setting up, or they want to tweak their own kind of branding or need a website, yeah, I'll give you 20% off if you make an order or do buy one of my packages before February, middle of February.
So it's like a Valentine's offer.
Yes, exactly. And I will be, you know, in and around the membership area as well. I'm going to be giving you some templates for that, aren't I? So if people want to join, I'm going to, hopefully this will be in there. I can do some more regular masterclasses connected with that as well. So happy to help wherever needed.
Yeah, very kind of you. So Vix has very kindly offered to give our members create some templates to share with us. So that's really generous of you. Thank you very much. So we're coming up to the top of the hour. Are there any other questions before we hop off? Is there any feedback, any thoughts, any questions? Would it be helpful to have a second session sometime next year, that kind of thing? Yeah, that's a yes from Carrie. Anything, any thoughts, feedbacks? You know, we're always open to it, and I think it would be helpful to do sort of a bit more of a masterclass in the new year, because I think you have to start with the basics, don't you? And some people brand new to it are nervous about, and I think that, you know, what you've shown us today is enough to give people confidence to just dive right in and play around with it and realize that you can't break anything, you know, and if in doubt, just like Vic said, just duplicate it and then play around with it. So hopefully it's given those of you that haven't played around with it before the confidence to do so. And you know, as we said, the free version does have quite a lot of functionality, so at least start with that. You know, if you've got a Christmas party or a kid's birthday or something, it's a really good place to start. I know that when we've introduced it in the membership and on the course, it's the one thing that people just absolutely love, and they, you know, a lot of them are doing things like the PTA and stuff, and they're just doing posters for everything. So it is good fun. Yeah, you're welcome, everyone. It's lovely to see you. And I think we'll call it a day there. Thanks for coming live. Thanks for those of you that watch it on the replay. But mainly thanks to you, Vix, for your time today. It's been really, really helpful. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. I've just put my email in the chat group. If anyone wants to reach out and ask me any questions, please do. And yeah, I might see you back here in the new year.
Yeah. Oh, look, somebody's going to make some tickets for Christmas presents. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, well, Vix is in the Facebook group. You can tag her. Perhaps you can share your contact in there and a little bit of blurb, Vix, about yourself, and so people can find it in there, because we'll lose it in the chat and here in a minute.
No problem.
But take care, everybody, and thanks for turning up. And I hope that's been beneficial. Any feedback or questions, do pop it in the Facebook group.
Great. Nice to meet you all. Thanks.
Thanks all. Bye for now.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.